tough right down to the final whistle. In the end, the Bulls wanted it more and were good value for the win.
Yeah, I echo that. I feel like everyone was tense whether they supported one of the teams or not in this one.
Oh, yeah.
Sarah Scoops got in touch and she said, I'm not sure this is so much an indication that the Championship is doing well, so much as Leeds are really awful. Not a great spectacle in terms of performance, but great in terms of the outcome and the battle.
Yeah. Tim got in touch, says, what's lower than a slump? I'm asking for a friend. Is that the same Jordan Lilley? Yeah, it definitely is. It's amazing what a bit of confidence and a decent coaching will do for you. Love the picture on social media of Uncle Two Skulls' house looking exactly as you'd expect it to. Yeah, it did.
I've missed this as well.
There's a picture I think that somebody tweeted. I presume I don't know who tweeted it. His wife, daughter, something. Of Uncle Two Skulls watching the match back and kind of making notes in his black book. And his house is very, I don't know, very, as Tim says, it's like you would expect it to be, quite traditional looking.
Yeah.
Much like the man himself, but I love him. Did it
have a sort of an old glass ashtray but filled with Werther's originals?
It was kind of a bit, you kind of expect all the curtains to have kind of pelmets and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that kind of look. Yeah.
Like a big red faux velvet sofa and doilies and arm covers on the end of the sofa and that sort of stuff.
That's beautiful, yeah.
Tom Andrews said, blimey, there's the Agar effect in full swing. I very much dislike Bradford, but a cup upset can put a smile on everyone's face except Uncle Gary.
Yeah. Indeed.
So, I just thought the Bulls completely overpowered the Rhinos in this one, and it was impressive to see. Kirk, from really early on, the break with Kirk and Crossley, even though it came to nothing, was a sign that, you know, the middle was the Bulls is to dominate, and it just kind of pretty much continued on from there, did it not?
Yeah, I mean, I want to try to be balanced. I do. I genuinely do, because it's very easy to get carried away. Early on, I thought Brad Dwyer was doing great stuff for Leeds, and we've talked about this before, haven't we, this year? And they're kind of the break for their first score.
Fantastic play, yeah.
Really good break. It looked like he could bust us up the middle, which you'd kind of expect a bigger, stronger team to do. But actually, I thought Bradford did an amazing job at adjusting to the conditions. So
when the rains came down.
Well, yeah, because our first try with the Dalton Grant try was a great pass out wide from Lilley, kind of great ball movement. That was really good. I really liked that kind of, it said everything about that we weren't scared to play. But then as soon as the rain came down, we just completely changed. We went to a double the middle game and we just bust them open time and time again, and that's where the momentum came. And they were just. Leeds just didn't look like they could have a chance to get back in it.
Bradford have been doing quite a bit of five drives and a kick against the Championship sides that are maybe coming to the table with a bit more talent sometimes than they've got. But
you saw that last week, didn't you?
Uncle has done many a time.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I think that's, you wouldn't have expected us. You wouldn't have expected scoring 2 points in the second half to be good enough. Would you?
No, I was messaging you at the time, and at half time I said I thought the Rhinos would still have enough right by the end. I didn't think that the Bulls could keep up the intensity that they did, and they probably didn't keep it up with the ball, but without the ball they found reserves.
Yeah, there was a lot of desperation and a lot of panic from the Leeds players as well.
There were complete lack of direction.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, completely.
Young McClellan did okay in the first 20 minutes, but the game really started to pass him by after that point.
Well, it's that's a difficult one, isn't it? Because at one point you talk about easing the lad in, that is not a game to kind of to let the guy have a go, is it? Do you know what I mean? Into that kind of cauldron of atmosphere. And yeah, I agree. He did well early on, but you're expecting too much of a young lad to kind of come in and really set a tone that was outside of. Because as I said early on, Dwyer was doing the right things and making us look quite ordinary at times. But actually, when it came down to needing to break us down, I wasn't scared of them breaking us down, other than perhaps in the last 5 minutes where you get a bit desperate, and we've got form historically in terms of letting in late tries to desperate players. So that always worries me. But yeah, the Leeds just didn't look capable, quite frankly. It was amazing.
Power in the forwards, didn't they? And the backs lacked any sort of discipline with the ball. There was just too many errors, too many half efforts, not really backing each other. It was awful to see from a Leeds perspective, but from Bradford's perspective, it was kind of the exact opposite. There was confidence, there was enthusiasm, there was relentless passion and intensity for all the small things, all the hard bits of work that you don't necessarily want to do, the tough carries.
Yeah. No, I was impressed. I'm trying, in terms of forwards, Crossley kind of kept showing up, not just because he's carrying a few extra pounds. I thought Mikey Wood was really good. Yes, Mikey Wood was very good. And he got a try, didn't he? Which he deserved. He did, and he's a classic under the radar type player that you don't necessarily pick up even at the game, but actually on television you do kind of notice that a bit more. I thought Hallis did a really good job in terms of, because he caught a bit of a whack and was kind of off for a bit, but he came back really well. But yeah, I was just massively impressed with the intensity, which I guess you'd kind of expect, but we managed to control it as well.
Yeah, well,
which is what Lilley came in, really.
There was a couple of points in the game where I thought old scummy James Green, who was one Bradford player that I couldn't find it in me to support.
No, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, but he there was a couple of times where I thought someone might get him here, someone might make him react, and he just fell short of flaring up, which was very good on his part. So
yeah, well, he had who was it? Was it?
It was Cameron Smith. He had a bit of a running battle with Cameron Smith for a while in the game,
and then Thingy threw the ball at him, didn't he? What's his name? Overrated Australian.
Cuthbertson? Parcell?
No, the other one.
Kettery?
No, the other one.
Lola here?
No, the other one.
Say you Manifa Trent Merrin.
No, Trent Merrin, thank you. Yeah, all of the above count. But yeah, no, because and to be fair, they kind of had a bit of a laugh about it afterwards. But yeah, you would fully expect James Green to slot in one there, but he didn't, and he managed to keep it. He managed to keep himself under control, which in of itself is a minor miracle. So yeah, I can't. Leeds did look all over the place. They look directionless. I don't understand moving a player who's clearly concerned about injuries to the second row. I don't think that's going to help him at all. That's a classic Agar thing to me. There
was real powder puff carries, wasn't there, from Callum Watkins at times?
Well, the guy's clearly
contact. It wasn't even the defensive side as much. It was with the ball. He lacked any sort of drive.
Which is weird. That didn't make any sense. If the guy's got confidence issues with injury, then moving him up front isn't going to help. I don't know.
We've done all this talk about this game, and we could talk another 5 minutes about how Leeds completely lacked structure when they ended up with both hookers on the field, yet still found themselves with other players playing the pass from dummy half and things like that. Just emphasised where they were in terms of a lack of organisation and understanding of each other on the pitch. But we've talked about this game for 10 minutes now, and we haven't talked really about the main man, the main little man, the little general.
Yeah.
So Jordan Lilley's performance, what did you make of it?
What can you say? The guy's obviously, it's a bit, a revenge game and all that kind of narrative, but he's been doing this for us consistently.
He kicked the winning drop goal in the round before. He set up the winning position in the round before that. So
yeah, this guy is. He deserves to be in a Super League team. I would be delighted if we could get him under a contract. I'd be over the moon. But to me, this guy has massive potential. And there's plenty of Super League clubs that would need somebody of this kind of caliber in their ranks. So if people can't say that, then I don't know what they're looking at, because I would have him signed up in an absolute heartbeat.
The timing of the process where clubs have to let players know if they're staying or not, if they're being retained or not, or what have you, kind of fell conveniently, didn't it, for the Bradford Bulls in this one, and it helped build the narrative.
Yeah, of course it did.
For sure. The one thing I would say on that whole theme, I think everyone, including Jordan Lilley, was aware that the Leeds Rhinos didn't seem in their long-term plans at this stage.
No.
But the bit that would have left the sour taste is apparently finding out by an email to his agent rather than any sort of phone call or conversation, or pulling him in to say, look, Jordan, thanks for all the efforts you've put in. We know you love the club, and we're sorry that we can't find a place for you at the moment, or what have you. But the way they've done it, they just gave him that extra drive, even though he probably always knew he wasn't going to be there. But on the flip side of that timing, that worked in Bradford's favour for this one-off game. Do you actually think all of that story, all of that hype around that issue, and then for him to pull it out of the bag on the BBC with everyone watching, actually plays against the Bulls keeping him long-term? Because you will have clubs like Salford or Hull KR or clubs like that might be looking for halfbacks next year, sniffing around this kid now.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't blame them. That's for certain. The one thing I would say, well, there's two things. Straight after the game, I thought he handled it incredibly maturely, and in his interview, he didn't appear bitter, even though he might be in private. In public, he wasn't, which is massively to his credit.
And shows signs of him growing up, which I think
shows signs of maturity, but
why his chance slipped away at Leeds a little bit potentially.
Yeah, but I do think Bradford have been instrumental in helping him reach that level of maturity. Okay. So we gave him a chance in terms of signing him on loan and kind of offering him that. And I think Keir has been a key part of that. So I'd love to keep him, but at the same time, if he did go to a Super League club, I would have no harsh feelings about it, because the guy, as I said, to me, is a Super League quality halfback and deserves his chance. But if he wants to play his trade with us, kind of pushing for promotion in the next couple of years, then he's more than welcome.
I'm trying to look for John Keir's house on the internet, but it's only letting me give me John Keats' house. So.
It's classic beige kind of. Yeah, it's lovely. It's a bit like my mum and dad's house. It's just as you'd expect it to be.
Right. Do you have anything else you want to, any more salt you want to rub into the Rhinos' wounds on this one? Shall we just briefly? No, we'll talk about it in the next game. We'll talk about how I don't understand double movements anymore in the next game.
No. Actually, no. Well, we'll talk about it in the next one. But I have a feeling we're going to agree on this point. But yeah, let's talk about. Let's talk about Sunday's game, shall we? Yeah,
so Sunday's BBC televised game was an absolute cracker between the losing finalists from the last 2 years, actually. 7,086 were there. James Child was the referee, although more conversation in this game certainly was about his friend in the video referee booth, Robert Hicks. It ended Warrington 26, Wigan 24. It was 18-12 to Warrington at half-time, and they managed to hold on to an advantage in the game and win it with a late penalty. late-ish. I don't know, it was like on the hour mark. There was 20 minutes of no scoring. Can you believe how exciting this game was? And there was 20 minutes of no scoring to end it. That's remarkable, isn't it? But in any case, it was Warrington versus Wigan, and let's run through the fan views first.
Yeah. So, Fatboy Rob said, great